I felt, let's talk about the David Coote thing. I felt that, I mean, my word, did it take over social media. It was just such a massive storm. And rightly so, you've got a Premier League referee who, for anyone who didn't see it, is using the C word to describe Jurgen Klopp, even brings up his nationality.
Yeah.
He, on multiple occasions, uses the C word, actually. Then there's kind of a friend who's sort of egging it on and adding to the conversation. He talks about an experience, being a fourth official, I think, for one of his games. He then proceeds to say in a second video, this cannot go anywhere. Since then, the PGMOL have suspended him. An investigation's going on. Reports had come out that he, I think the exact wording was, vehemently denies that that's him in the video. Now it's that he doesn't remember him being a part of the video.
But accepts it was him.
Yeah, but accepts it was him. Yeah, sorry, thank you for adding that. What did you make when you saw the video? And I shouldn't laugh, it's not funny. It's kind of funny. It's like, it's a serious problem.
Yeah.
It's just also like, it's hilarious, like, how did this happen? Because I almost find it hilarious. It's like, it's one thing, we'll talk about the subconscious biases and all that, and that's obviously important. How are you letting someone film you?
And the guy's zooming into your face as well. He's just there zooming in.
He's looking down the camera. Like, it'd be what... If you had an opinion on Jurgen Klopp, and he's in a club talking to someone, maybe a mate, and someone's put a camera and he's not really noticed that he's saying it. Like, Ken, questions will be brought up about maybe subconscious bias, what we need to do to improve that. But someone is kind of allowed an opinion on someone else, right? But it's the fact that he delivered it in that way that makes you question as well, like, wow, these are some seriously strong opinions.
Yeah.
How does that affect things? But also just to look down the lens of the camera.
Yeah.
It was all but 4K. And give those opinions. I mean, it's crazy to me.
He was off his face, number one.
Yes, I mean, he's also kind of confirmed that, hasn't he, by saying, I don't remember.
Yeah, he didn't need to confirm that. His eyes confirmed it. His movements confirmed it in that video. And what he said confirmed it, because it is outrageous. It's funny because how outrageous it is to hear that. And how it falls in line with, what we've been seeing over the last 2 years and some of the questions we have. Like, how do you bring in these referees? How do you vet them? How do you trust completely that they are, they are without bias? They are without an allegiance. How do you, at least tell us this? So we don't, this is why it's like a cartel. We don't know anything. They're just supported. Now there's Ref Watch, so they're even their own entity in terms of, I'm sure they don't.
Personalities.
I'm sure Ref Watch doesn't want to lose their contract on TV. So why would they want less controversy? I mean, this Coots thing, I'm glad it's come about. I'm glad it's come about because, as much as he calls Klopp the C word, many might call him the same word after seeing that and knowing that he's been in a position to influence the beautiful game. I know the beautiful game's been tainted by money now, and it's more the money game than the beautiful game, but it is still.
And many people when it's a beautiful game with many ugly faces.
Yeah. And the PGMOL in the last few years in terms of how they've conducted this transition into VAR as well. Not only the accountability, in their own decision making and whatnot, it's the rule making behind the scenes and so on. So it's a big pile of shit at the moment. And this video kind of just, is the icing on the pile of shit.
Well, some people have said, let's look at both sides. Some people have said, look, it's unprofessional and he's going to probably lose his job, but ultimately, so he's got an opinion, he gets abused all the time. So what, he's given a little bit back here and there.
But that's
is that the end of the world?
You see how I say, some of these referees have never kicked a ball in their life.
By the way, I'm just putting someone else. That's not my opinion. I just want people to know that. Yeah, I'm just putting that.
But you know how I said refs have never kicked a ball in their life? Like, they don't know whether this contact warrants a foul or, they might see something slow-mo'd, but because they've never been in that situation, they'll say it's a foul because there's a bit of contact. But come on, the beautiful game.
I explored and I talked about yesterday this kind of subconscious bias that can come in. Let's say, and some Liverpool fans might be claiming this, that David Coote has had bad experiences with Jurgen Klopp and therefore maybe doesn't want to give Liverpool certain decisions because of it. I think that's really interesting because I totally understand why the nature of the language he used and how kind of visibly, genuinely quite, he doesn't like Jurgen Klopp, he made that very clear, right? I can understand why people would look at that and think that and go, there's clearly like, you're human. You can't surely be feeling level-headed if you feel this way about someone, about the decisions you're making for their team. But then what's interesting is, you know, sometimes, and I'm only just putting the other side out there, sometimes it's actually your biggest critics you almost want the validation from sometimes. You know, sometimes your professional pride is, you know, I might not like you, but I want to, at the end of this game, have done the best job possible as a referee. So I'm exploring both sides here. While the video is shocking for many reasons, mainly the language used, how much fear do you have about the subconscious bias side of things from the referee's perspective?
I mentioned it before with the vetting of how you get these refs in and how you can guarantee without shadow of a doubt that there isn't a bias there. And then you look at the population of referees and, you know, not one from London. I probably get that, considering if you're born and raised in London, you're going to have some sort of allegiance. But I feel like that's the same in many areas. Yeah. So why are they all segregated up north? Again, I'm not saying that favours up north teams, because Liverpool I've seen, you know, get done many times over the years. So there's questions there. There is a worry there. And this video confirms that worry. If he feels and says that behind the scenes, then what do others? Because as much as I'm mentioning character before, they also have to understand that they're very much protected. You're protected, you're paid, you're professionals now. So you've got to just let it go at 90 minutes. Because they're not allowed to, managers are not allowed to say anything about you after the match anyway.
It's a good point, actually. Managers,
but then here's where fans also come in, because can you imagine, let's use us. You know how the online fan base is, how strong we are online in numbers, right? When referee decisions go wrong this season, you could imagine that referee at home after for the next 72 hours on Twitter, on socials, on these things, and seeing Arsenal fans rip them to shreds. Right or wrong, we've been right this season, but I'm saying right or wrong, they're probably looking at it like, these CUNTs, you know? And then it comes into play, but how do you fix that? Maybe foreign referees, but that doesn't eliminate all bias completely.
Well, foreign referees is a good, it doesn't.
Or you have VAR in Spain or in Portugal or in France, and you still have the English refs, so then you get a challenge from someone that's not even... Maybe that's
Actually, that's quite a good solution. I'll tell you my biggest... Actually, I want to explore all that solutions towards the end of this video. But I'll tell you my biggest takeaway from all this. As much as, you know, everything else we've discussed, you know, the language used, the subconscious bias, all that absolutely is a concern of mine. My biggest concern was, and has been actually more recently, the professionalism of the PGMOL.